What's up, brewskis?
I want a pouch now.
You should have asked for one when you had the chance. You're not an honest kid like me.
No.
Brought to you by Honest Kids.
The Lion Kid ones have liquor in them. Bad boys.
My name's Marco Dupa. I'm an honest kid. This Lion Kid right here, that's Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
What's up, brewskis?
What are we drinking tonight? Well, I'll tell you. I don't know why I said it like that.
I thought you were tossing it to me. Got startled.
Wasn't ready for the... Tonight's brew is from Sideward Brewing. It's a double IPA called the Citra Nelson.
Double Citra
Nelson. For all you Citra folks, and there's a lot of them. You wouldn't believe how many people walk in and are like, you have anything with Citra hops? And I'm like, you've only heard of Citra hops.
Yeah.
And now you want anything with Citra hops. And that's fine. It's the same thing when people figure out what dry hopping is. And then they're like, you got anything that's dry hopped? And I'm like...
Do you have a cold IPA?
Why don't you just sit down, shut up, and I'll give you what I want. No.
I'll pour you whatever swill I decide.
What's on tap for tonight? If you couldn't tell, we're coming in hot and aggressive because we are going to talk about fight stuff. It's fight week on the podcast. We got a recap of the latest UFC event, which, in my opinion, and I think in yours too, I don't want to speak for you, but I feel we agree on this, one of the best cards of the year. Top to bottom, fantastic.
It was great, yeah.
And then what else got announced?
Well, we also have a bit of controversy from the same UFC event.
Controversy.
From the just dribble the ball, folks.
Yeah.
Getting a little political now
Just
with
dribble the ball, folks.
With Donald Trump joining.
Yeah.
As a esteemed guest. So yeah, there's a lot of feedback if you couldn't have guessed that. So we'll talk about that.
And then big fight announcement. It's finally happening. Hopefully, maybe. We're a little ways out, so anything could happen. But it was announced that heavyweight champion of the world, Tyson Fury, will be fighting the former UFC heavyweight champion of the world, Francis Ngannou, in a sanctioned boxing match. So we're gonna give you the details on that and kind of go in from there. And then what else?
Well, we also have a very special boy to talk about this week as well. It's gonna be Marco's birthday.
This honest kid.
This guy. So he's gonna have a little bit to speak to on his birth eve, if you will.
See, this is why I get the juice box.
Sure.
Yeah, this is a birthday juice box.
Makes sense. Should give you like a half
Or
a slice
Capri
of pizza.
Yeah.
Tiny can of Coke.
It's my Pippin year, so we're gonna give all the details.
Okay.
And then see kind of where we go from there. All right, kids? Without further ado, this is episode 398 of the One Beer In podcast. Oh yeah, son.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's right. This is the One Baron podcast. You guessed it. It's the podcast where two brews crack open a brew and we see where that one brew takes us. And I'm Marco Dupa, like I said before, and that's Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
That's right.
And we're just going to get ripping and rolling into this mother you-know-what.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. I haven't cussed yet.
Yeah.
Okay?
I've noticed, yeah. It's, little improvements.
Yeah.
Every day.
It's incremental steps, okay?
Yeah.
We'll see how far we go after we get some of this Citra
all up in ya.
Citra Nelson. All right. But speaking of the Citra Nelson, you want to tell the people what we're drinking?
Sure. As you said, this is the double Citra Nelson from Sideward Brewing. It comes in at a stable 7.8% ABV. And it was actually kind of hard to find something on this beer, even on the internets. But I was able to find, according to their Facebook, the Double Citra Nelson is a double IPA with, you guessed it, Citra and Nelson Sauvignon. Huh? Is that right?
We need the French dispatch.
Sauvin
Sauvin
hops. Fluffy tropical notes of mango and white grape skins.
Sick.
Yeah. Love all that stuff.
Love that stuff, man. Love all that stuff.
Especially the Sauvin.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
Sauvin.
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 You can taste the Sauvin.
Right. Yeah.
It's in there. You want to talk about the Timothée Chalamet thing? Start with that, and then get into the other, because we talk about it at the start.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I feel like you're already coming in kind of hot on that. We were talking about, not to get into how the sausage is made too much, but we do often talk about what we're going to talk about before we get into the show.
You thought this was all improvised, but it's not.
It's not. One such topic was the new trailer for, is it just called Wonka?
Yeah, I think it's just called Wonka.
Yeah,
Which
the new Willy Wonka movie.
Give me a break.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. The new Willy Wonka movie starring Timothée Chalamet. Speaking of French things.
Timothée Chalamet.
And you had some controversial takes here, my friend.
I mean, I guess they're controversial right now because he's the hot one right now. I'll tell you what, listen, all right. I'm not saying that I don't get it. I do get it. I think he's talented. I'm not on the hype train. All right. I'm just not, it's just, he doesn't do it for me. He just doesn't do it for me. They're strapping the rocket to his back and he's been in like a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
And he's just going to be in a ton more.
Already signed on for Dune 3 now?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know that. Sick.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's good in Dune. I think he does what he's supposed to do in Dune really well. But when it comes to, young, good-looking white dudes with weird names, I think Shia LaBeouf, I think he's better than... I think, okay, hold on. Let me try to frame this a little bit, okay?
What?
Obviously not a better person.
No.
What I'm saying is I should have started by saying that this hype train reminds me of the hype train that he was getting when Disturbia and Transformers came out, and then it was the Indiana Jones thing, and then
Fury.
What?
Fury.
That was later. But there was the one movie, Eagle something.
Oh, Eagle Eye?
Eagle Eye,
right? Yeah.
So he had the rocket to his back.
Yeah.
And I saw more promise in Shia LaBeouf than I currently see with Timothée Chalamet.
That's fair.
And when you watch this trailer, I think, man, more people are going to agree with me when this movie comes out.
Sure. We should, let's mini trailer trash here so we can get in...
Mini trailer
trash. So we can get into the specifics of the trailer, right?
Yeah.
And mostly the reception it's gotten, I think, pretty universally has been
meh.
I don't know.
Just a shoulder shrug.
And a lot of it has to do with Timothée Chalamet.
Timmy Chow.
Oh, Timmy Chow. And I know you saw this tweet, but I think it comes down to him not being a silly little goose.
Yeah.
Yeah. It in the trailer, at least, unless this is like some character progression that he goes through in this movie, it seems like he doesn't have that like over the top sort of
there's
joy to
there's
vive.
no whimsy to him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it seems
more French words.
Yeah. We're trying to we're trying to film it as much as possible. There's a certain je ne sais quoi,
there's a certain omelette du fromage with him.
Yeah.
That or lack thereof.
Yeah. No, he needs a croissant.
Croissant.
No.
That was the Frenchest you've ever sounded.
No. It's the easiest word because they hate everything. But yeah, no, I have to agree. I have to agree. There is something missing from his performance in those trailers. And, I'm hoping because this is from the same people that brought us Paddington. They know how to do whimsy and joy and the sort of light family filmmaking.
And I've since seen both Paddington movies, and
right.
yeah,
yeah,
Yep.
they're fantastic films. So I have some hopes for this movie itself to be at least a fun time, but there just seems to be an element missing with old Timmy Chal.
Yeah. Well, I saw a tweet about how everybody seems to be focusing ever since the original movie, the Tim Burton movie, and now this one. It seems to be that they're focusing on Willy Wonka, the character himself, and like what he brings and like what he represents. But I guess the original idea of like Willy Wonka and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the original book, was that like you could be anything and you can believe in yourself, and like you don't have to be stuck in the station that you're in. If this inner light that's inside of you, all this stuff. It was about the kids.
Yeah.
And more they've gotten away from that. Because like when you watch Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, the Tim Burton movie, which by the way, that movie fucking sucks. There's the first curse word. That's 15 minutes in.
Okay, we're fine.
That movie fucking sucks.
Yeah.
That one pisses me off. The way people remember that movie and the way that they talk about it, fuck that movie.
It's funny you say that because I don't recall people liking that movie.
I see a lot of people like singing the songs and they're like, this is my favorite Johnny Depp role.
Oof.
I see it all the time, dude. And maybe it's in the corners where you find the people who are gonna like that shit. Like if you look up a DC Snyder,
oh sure, yeah,
you're gonna see all these people who are like, it's a masterpiece. You guys,
sure.
Maybe I was in those corners,
right?
But I've seen it a lot. Nobody says that it's better than the OG, but a lot of people have this very nostalgic view of that movie.
Well, I guess we're getting to that time where kids growing up would have seen that movie and currently have as adults nostalgia for it.
Yeah.
Because to me, it just seems like, that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
It was a failed attempt at sort of reinvigorating the quote franchise. But
it's just so.
I don't know.
I don't know how you thought. Did they really think that they were going to hang their hats on that movie and Johnny Depp's performance in that?
Yeah.
It's so strange and weird and not in a, like, Tim Burton movies are strange and weird, but they're a relatable strange and weird. They're a kind of like, these are outcasts and weirdos like me kind of weird. Yeah. That movie was just like, what's wrong with him, man? Why is he acting like that? This is something not. And credit to Johnny Depp, because when you watch it, it's like, this is so far away from
it's
what
unhinged.
Yeah, it is complete. And you're like, I didn't even know he could do that voice.
Yeah,
let alone pulled this performance. Like I mean, he does deserve credit for just how crazy it actually is, because to me, it's like psycho shit. That performance, like, it's scary. Yeah, it's a scary performance. Scary. It's like, what's wrong with him, man? Yeah, what's going on with this? Like, is he gonna murder those kids?
Keep him away from those children. We don't trust him.
Is he gonna eat the Oompa Loompas?
Yeah,
like, is he gonna eat that small Indian man?
Also very weird, that entire Oompa Loompa thing.
That whole like he plucked them from another country, and then
we don't have to get into it.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
This is about
Timothée
Wonka.
Chalamet, and how much I don't think that he's that good. I don't think he's that good. Let me tell you. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna double down. I'm just gonna stand on this. I haven't seen a performance to me that. To me, I'm trying to think of the word. The French word for it's not a French word. No, I'm trying to think of the word that, like, point me to the performance that is the reason for all of this hype, that lives up to this hype. What is the? Is that it? That's the one?
Well, that's really what made him a star. Yeah. So
I guess he's good in it. Yeah, I don't know.
And Little Women too.
Yeah, Little Women is this. Yeah. Little Women and Call Me by Your Name.
I have not seen Little Women, so maybe I need to see that.
Just, I don't know.
I mean,
it's not, you know.
it's
like it's giving like Eddie Redmayne, and I'm like, I didn't get it with Eddie Redmayne either.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm like, you know, he did one performance, the Stephen Hawking one, and like,
Yeah.
oh, okay,
yeah.
and then that's it. I don't know what I'm expecting from these guys.
Well, he got trapped in J.K. Rowling hell for the past 10 years.
yeah,
so,
that's right. Yeah,
You know, contracts.
man, and you know the thing is, can you imagine being in his shoes where he's like, yeah, we're gonna do some more Harry Potter movies, and they're like, well, no, we're not.
Yeah.
And also, this franchise is gonna go fucking nowhere.
Absolutely
And
nowhere.
also, she's gonna ruin it for you guys. So now you
Yeah.
can't even like talk about those movies that you did.
You
for
can't even
10
put it on your
years.
resume.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Man, I'd be if I was Eddie Redmayne or Jude Law, I'd be so pissed
Yeah.
at J.K. Rowling.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
And Johnny Depp again,
yeah.
rearing his ugly head
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
It really is unfortunate. Mm-hmm. I had high hopes for those movies and they sucked.
Yeah.
Anyway, really quick, I gotta say trash for the trailer.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I can't leave the conversation without rating it.
Right.
So I have to say trash. It didn't make me more excited to see the movie.
No.
No. In fact, I mean, I was coming in not really being interested, and it made me less so, which is, I think, definition of trash trailer.
Yeah.
So, but I do disagree with you. I think that old Timmy has a certain spark about him.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't see the X Factor. What? Tiny Horse?
Tiny, yes.
I've never seen Tiny
You
Horse.
gotta know on when he was on SNL a couple years back.
It's a sketch.
He did a skit called Tiny Horse, and if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend you look it up because
Okay.
it is legitimately one of the funniest sketches I think I've ever seen.
Okay.
Especially in the newer seasons of SNL.
All right, I'll check that out.
Yeah, it's great. He had a really good SNL performance.
Yeah.
I think that's a good barometer for me for like it's like introducing your dog to someone new,
Yeah.
and that tells me right there if there is something with that person, with that actor, or even sometimes they have musicians on. But if you can pull off a good SNL, you got something.
Yeah.
In my book.
And my book.
In my book.
That's how I feel about Adam Driver. His SNL.
Oh, yeah.
His SNL performance.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
every sketch he's
Fantastic.
in is just. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I like him in Dune.
Yeah.
I don't think he takes away from the movie. I think he's a good protagonist. He carries the movie.
Well, I think hopefully in Dune 2 and eventually 3, you're going to see more out of him. Like doing more stuff.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It is filled with like all of my favorite actors. I
Yeah.
mean, you've got Josh Brolin.
Sure.
You got my boy Batista.
Uh-huh.
You've got my man, Oscar Isaac, my fucking, that's
course.
my dude.
Yeah.
My dude.
Yeah.
Thick and thin.
Uh-huh.
So I'm like, all right, he's got this radius, and Jason Momoa's great in it.
Sure.
So he's got this radius of like fantastic actors around him.
All shot expertly.
Yeah.
Everything looks great. It's all edited perfectly. It's like the perfect package to knock it out of the park.
Right. So it's kind of hard for him not to.
Hey, I mean, he could be like the Godfather 3 factor here, and just come in and stink up the place so that everyone hates it.
Yeah.
But he's not.
No.
Pulls his weight, and hopefully he will continue to do so.
I don't know. I feel like I could beat him up. I guess maybe that's what it is.
Yeah,
I feel like I win in a fight.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, he could be pretty scrappy.
Nah,
he's
nah.
like sinewy. And
I would beat the
weird,
shit out of
you know?
that kid.
Yeah, probably.
I would beat him up, and that's my barometer for talented actors. Could I beat up a young Josh Brolin? No way.
I don't think you could be up an old Josh Brolin.
Hey, no, I couldn't. Not current day Josh Brolin or fucking Goonies Josh Brolin.
No. Not at any point before he was 15 years old.
Yeah.
Could you beat up Josh Brolin?
But could I beat up Timothée Chalamet?
Yeah,
No question.
Yeah.
No question.
I will say I think I could probably beat up Timothée Chalamet no matter what age he is.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, no matter what.
Yeah. I'll give him 6 months to train for a movie where he plays a martial artist, and I feel like I could still beat him up. He'd have to put on, conservatively, 30 to 40 pounds of muscle before I'm even, like, remotely registering him as a threat.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I just don't even...
Well, again, as we spoke about before, we're in different weight classes. So,
well, yeah.
like, it's not really fair.
That's true. Yeah. But I mean,
know.
if he's popping off, you know what I'm saying? We're going to have to scrap. It's like, it's not... You don't look at somebody's weight when they're popping off. He walks in and he's got an attitude.
You're lucky. You're lucky I'm a heavyweight.
I outweigh you by so much, man. Come on. This isn't even a fair fight. It ain't a fair fight. It ain't a fair
Stop it.
Who else? Who else can I beat up?
Even though he's also skinny and sinewy, I think that Adam Driver could take you because he's a Marine.
Oh yeah, but he's also like 6'5".
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's like lanky.
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, the way he looked as Kylo Ren, I mean, he was beefy. Oh no, I wouldn't even dream of taking on Adam Driver, former Marine.
Yeah, no.
Already has 3 or 4 inches on me in height. No, fuck, no. I mean, listen. Let me just state this for the record. I would get beat up by a lot of people, but I'm not backing down from any fight.
Okay.
So if Adam Driver walked in here and was like, "We got to scrap," I'd be like, "This sucks."
we have to scrap.
But if he's like, "Meet me outside," I'm gonna have to walk out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna. Well, I couldn't live with myself if I was like, I backed down from a fight.
And then you have to watch 65 and go, that guy called me out. And I didn't meet him outside.
I told. Now listen, Salfi, friend of the show, singer of the theme song, big Adam Driver guy.
Yeah.
And we were talking about different actors that we're like really, really behind right now, like newer actors who we think are gonna like blow up.
Yeah.
And I was like really, really, and I still believe this. Daniel Kaluuya is my guy. I think he's gonna like. I mean, he's already won an Oscar.
Sure.
I mean, I think he's got sky's the limit for him.
Yeah.
And Adam Driver is his guy. And this was right around the time that 65 was getting into theaters, and he was gonna go see it. And I was like, that movie looks like shit, and you know it. Like, I know you're a fan.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you believe that he's the next guy, and he probably is.
Sure.
65 ain't it. This is gonna be a fucking bomb. And guess what? That movie atomic
bomb. Yeah.
So,
Pulled an Oppenheimer. But I don't know if you saw this tweet as well. That's where I get all my news.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, still.
But they somebody like when 65 dropped saw it in theaters and said, "Your dad is gonna love this movie." and then they replied to their own tweet like today with a screen cap of Netflix, and it's the #1 movie. In America, and he said, "I told you." Everyone's watching it now. That's on Netflix. So.
I mean, that's what happens, man.
Yeah.
The shit gets on streaming.
It's just too easy.
Yeah, it's just like even if it's terrible, like,
your 65-year-old dad just sitting there and
he's like, "This movie was made for me."
There's guns and dinosaurs. I mean, hell, I'll watch it here. It sounds good to me.
Yeah, I'll probably check it out
Why
now.
not?
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix.
Whatever.
It's on Netflix.
I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Let's talk about people who I couldn't beat up ever in a million years.
Okay.
Let's switch into the UFC fight card and just get into Fight Week on the podcast. It's Fight Week.
Fight Week.
I might put like ding ding or like two boxing gloves. All right, last week was the most recent UFC pay-per-view, 291, 292?
290.
290, okay. UFC 290. Headlined by Yair Rodriguez and Alexander Volkanovski. But top to bottom, this card was out of control.
Yeah.
You got it pulled up there.
I do.
Let's just run through the main card. Although the prelims were fantastic. Mm-hmm. Shout out to Robbie Lawler pulling up the rear on the prelim card.
Yeah.
His last fight.
I just missed that fight when I tuned in.
I was making food. They had just started. I go around to the other side of the kitchen, start chopping some stuff up, and then it's just, oh! run around, and he's dropped to his knees, and Robbie's like got his hands in the air, and I was like, what the fuck? And also, that sucks for Nico Price, man. I mean, the guy just can't catch a break. He thinks he's gonna do the retirement fight with Robbie Lawler, and then Robbie fucking uppercuts him into space. Yeah,
good for him though.
Yeah, he's gonna be on Robbie's highlight reel for the rest of his life.
Yeah,
man, that's the one thing I would never want to be, is like the guy getting laid out in a like the one. Yeah, the one I forget the fighter's name, but the like crazy kung fu kick where the guy's holding his leg and then he does the spinning back kick, and knocks him, and he just like woozy, and then just drops. I mean, they've made 1,000 edits. He's a meme now. Yeah, and that guy, like, he'll never,
it just has to burn you up inside, right?
Yeah,
like forever. You see that forever.
Yeah,
have to relive getting knocked out.
I mean, imagine being what's his name, Jeremy Stevens, the guy at the Conor press conference when he did the "Who the fuck is that guy?"
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that guy will never, unless he wins UFC gold, which I don't think he ever will.
Yeah,
he'll never be able to erase that stink. I mean, it was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. The timing of it, the genuine like confusion of who is that?
Yeah,
why is he talking?
Why is he talking right now?
It's perfect. And he couldn't, and he just like, he sits there kind of stone faced, and he's like, you know who I am? I'm the guy who like knocks people, and everyone's just like, no, dude,
stop.
You just got embarrassed.
It's over, buddy.
It's like, you just should have just been quiet, man. You should have sat there and ate your food.
I mean, he has to roll into it, right? And get like a tattoo that says that guy, something like that.
Well, yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, make that his like Twitter handle forever. That guy.
Yeah. Jeremy Stevens, that guy.
Yeah.
Something. Yeah, if it's going to happen to you, you got to roll into it. You got to lean into it.
You have to realize when you're defeated.
Yeah.
And make the most of it.
Yeah. You can't resist. You can't be bitter about it, because the last thing that you want to be is bitter on the internet, because that's when people pounce.
They smell the blood.
Yeah.
It's like being caught in a riptide. Yeah. You don't fight against it. You let it pull you out, and you come back when it's done with you.
Yeah. All right, go through the card, please.
All right, we have Bo Nickel and Trayshawn Gore.
That was a good fight. It didn't last very long. Bo Nickel showing why he's one of the biggest prospects in.
Well, actually,
in the
I'm
UFC.
sorry. That was canceled, but Bo Nickel fought Val Woodburn. Oh, yeah. So yes, 38 seconds.
Yeah, very quick.
Yeah, Jalen Turner and Dan Hooker.
Great fight.
Yep.
Dan Hooker has a fractured orbital bone and a broken arm, and won the fight.
He got beat up.
He got head kicked.
Crazy.
I mean, I thought the fight when he just absorbs that head kick, and I was like, this Dan Hooker's not human.
No.
And not for nothing, but Dan Hooker's like, he's lost a couple of fights, his most recent fights, and he wasn't looking that good. And then, goddamn, man, you just never count a guy out.
Terminator mode. Then we have Robert Whitaker and how do you pronounce his name?
This
Dricus? Dricus Duplessis?
Yes, I think it's Duplessis.
Duplessis. Ooh. Dricus
Duplessis.
How do you say?
This was the. There was a lot of controversy on this card.
Yeah.
So Robert Whitaker, who I thought was going to win this easily, by the way, didn't look great. Dricus. He has a vampire name.
He does.
Dricus Duplessis. He beat the brakes on. He beat the brakes off of Robert Whitaker. He beat the brakes off of him.
Yeah.
And then our boy, the style
bender,
he steps into the octagon, and man, I mean, I'll say it for the kids who can't. I mean, he dropped a lot of M-bombs, a lot of nigga this and nigga that, to let him know. I mean, I get what he was doing. I get what he was trying to do. I think everybody understands what he was trying to do. Mm-hmm. Just fell flat. Yeah. It was too forced. It was too awkward. It was like it just didn't land. Yeah. It just didn't land. I mean, it's not like Duplessis did anything he didn't say anything that was clever or you know what? I just want to say this first.
Okay. Quick aside.
A quick aside.
Mm-hmm.
I am so tired of UFC guys, fans mostly, but a lot of the fighters too, acting all elitist about wrestling and you know, whenever something like that, what is this, the WWE? It's like, listen, you know who's selling tickets? The guys who can talk.
Yeah, of course.
All of your dudes, all of the guys who can talk in the UFC, they're the ones who are headlining cards when they probably shouldn't be. And you know why? It's because they probably sat in front of a mirror and was like, I'm going to cut a promo. You know, you understand the idea of cutting a promo? When you hear guys like, well, not Ariel, because he's a wrestling guy, but whenever you hear John Anik or any of these like traditional UFC guys talk about cutting a promo, you know they're taking wrestling terminology.
Yeah.
You guys, you got to stop acting like you're better than wrestling fans or you're better than wrestling culture, because they're the guys who are selling tickets. Do you think fucking Michael Chandler right now deserves to be fighting Conor McGregor? No.
Right.
But can he talk? Is he one of the best talkers in the UFC? Yes.
Yeah.
Is Conor McGregor the best talker in the UFC? Yes. Do you want to see two guys who can cut a promo have a months-long, you know, back and forth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
Who does? That's compelling TV. You know who can't cut a promo? Fucking Israel Adesanya. As much as I love him and he's one of my favorite fighters, he just, for the life of him, can't cut a promo.
Well, that's why he's so lucky he's so good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's the great equalizer, right? As long as you keep winning, you'll get bumped up.
Well, and that's the difference between the UFC and the WWE, obviously, right?
Yeah.
As long as you just win fights, like it's.
But it's such a stupid prejudice to have, because of course professional wrestling has an edge on fighting on the theatrics. That's what they do.
Yeah.
That's the entire point.
Right.
You know, is to be theatrical, be over the top, and sell a show.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't they take the best thing that they are good at and bring it to their own sport?
Right.
You know? Like,
right.
It just makes perfect sense.
Why wouldn't you want, because anytime something like this happens, you like the drama, right? You like the idea of Izzy getting into the octagon, having a face-off, and you're like, this is obviously the guy who's fighting next.
Yeah.
They got to hype this up. They got to build this card. And how do you do that? You got to juice it with some inherent drama, right?
Right.
The only way to do that is to be able to talk it up. If you got two guys who are just like, you know, respect, we're martial artists and we will fight in the cage. It's like, oh, cool. It's like two guys who respect each other and like, great, we're just going to have a good fight and whatever. It's going to. But isn't it a lot more entertaining when two dudes are like, fuck that guy, and they and they know how to talk, and it's like it's entertaining, and you're like, oh man, this is compelling. It's compelling TV.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why people would be so. And then when something like this happens and it falls flat, you're like, ugh, that was really cringy. And you know why? It's because he can't cut a promo. Izzy can't cut a promo, and so that's why it doesn't work. Yeah. But when you get a guy who can talk, you put another dude in there who can cut a promo, that face-off is completely different, and people are still talking about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So get off your high horse when it comes to the theatrics, because that's what sells cards.
It's such an old man, like MLB sort of view of like, that's not the tradition I grew up with. I don't like it.
Weird unwritten rules.
It's too modern. They're not respecting each other enough.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Two guys just got into the cage and fucking fought each other.
Fine.
You know?
As long as they're not dirty when they get in the ring, you know, who cares?
Yeah. All right. And then you got, what? The next fight.
Brandon Moreno and Alexander Pantoja.
The flyweight championship of the world. And Brandon Moreno lost.
Yeah.
Which was really, I was also surprised by that.
Surprising. Very surprising, yeah.
I thought for sure that he was going to take that. I actually thought that he might have done enough to eke it by, especially when it went to a split decision. I thought reigning, defending, I thought maybe they would lean towards him.
You definitely you usually see a bump for the current reigning, you know, like, so I don't know. I was a little on the fence, but again, I was so frustrated in Moreno's performance, especially towards the end.
Yeah.
Where he just kind of like let him take it. It felt like he already thought he won.
Yeah.
And you can't do that.
No.
You just can't do that.
Why want to fight that close?
No.
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 You just can't leave it up to the judges.
Yeah.
Because,
So-
I mean, look what they did. Split decision, and one of the cards was 49-46 for Moreno when everyone was like, okay,
What?
what are you talking about?
Huh?
Like, he might have eked by a victory, but there's no way the fight was 49-46 for Moreno. That's just insane.
Yeah.
That's correct. Yeah, the judging just doesn't improve with the UFC. Every card, there's at least one fight where you're like, what were they turned around the whole fight? How could you have scored it that way?
Yeah.
Insane.
Guy just really hates ground game.
Apparently.
Yeah. Then finally, we got Volkanovski and Rodriguez.
Which this was, man, I was on my feet.
Yeah.
Especially in that last round. Volk, he eats like a left hook, and then he's like, you know what? I don't want to be in here anymore. And just turns the thrusters on and just sparks him.
Yeah.
Sparks him.
Yeah.
Lifts him up, puts him on the ground, ends the. I mean, it was like
incredible.
Alexander Volkanovski is just one of the best martial artists I've ever seen in my life. He is. ESPN put them now as the pound for pound best. I don't know if UFC's updated their pound for pound right yet. As of this recording, I haven't checked it, but I don't know if theirs is. But ESPN has him as the best fighter in the world right now, and it's kind of hard to argue, man.
Yeah.
You go up to lightweight, and you almost beat the lightweight champion of the world. You go back down to featherweight,
yeah.
and he's just decimated. There's no one who weighs 145 pounds who can beat Volkanovski in a fight. There's no one on the planet who weighs 145 pounds who can beat him. My favorite featherweight is Max Holloway, and they've had 3 fights already.
Yeah.
And he's beat him. He's the next best 145er, and he doesn't even come close. They had one fight that I thought Max actually won, which, it's a whole other. But the next 2 fights, like, he's just there's nobody better than Alexander Volkanovski.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy when you see any competitor get to that stage where it's like they have decimated the playing field. Like, it's done. They did it. They did the thing. Until somebody new comes in or they start to degrade in their skills.
Yeah.
What do? You just keep churning through them.
Yeah.
It's always incredible to see somebody at like the pinnacle.
I mean, that's why Nunes retired. She got to a point where it was like,
Yeah.
There's no one else. There's no one here for me.
Right.
I've ran through everybody that you got.
Yep.
Some of them twice.
Yeah.
There's nothing left.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Volk has to go up in weight. He has to. I just don't. I mean, they just
He's
tried
so
to.
small.
They tried to. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy to think.
You see that guy with like, a jacket on walking around the street, you're like, that's a really small guy.
Yeah, he's just a little dude. He's like
little dude.
5'6", 5'5",
a little guy.
145.
Yeah.
I mean, even at his heaviest when he was playing rugby, he was like 200 something pounds, and he
Yeah.
probably was like
Oh,
I know
yeah.
he was a
He was
thick
a
guy,
brick
but he was
house,
also
yeah.
still like,
Yeah.
you're like,
Wolverine.
again, it's like you see him and you're like, I could probably take him, right? And that's
No.
a dude who would rip you in half.
Yes.
And he wouldn't even
Tear
think
your
about
throat
it.
out.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you're above 6 feet tall.
No. And they just tried to sell us on who he's fighting. That I forgot who it is. Fuck.
Who, Volkanovski?
Yeah, what his next fight is going to be.
Let me see if I can do a quick research here.
But even still, it's like who. Nothing's compelling enough to make you think like this person's gonna do anything.
Yeah. Okay, so according to Sports Illustrated, he named 3 people he'd like to fight next.
Okay.
Islam.
He's got to run that back with Islam.
Ilya Topuria. And Aljamain Sterling.
Oh, I didn't know he called out Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
According to an interview uploaded on his YouTube channel.
Isn't Sterling's a bantamweight,
Yes.
right?
Yes, he is.
So you have to go down to 35.
Yeah.
Interesting. So he's going to lose even more weight.
Well, it says here, this is all according to Sports Illustrated, I think. Sterling has made it known that his title defense against Sean O'Malley at UFC 292 in August will be his last at bantamweight.
Oh, so Sterling's going to go up to featherweight and fight. Oh, interesting. Does he get an immediate title fight? I wonder. I mean, guy relinquishes his championship and then he moves up in weight. Probably, because that's what they've been doing with everybody else. The guys just go up in weight class and then they just jump the line.
I would think so.
I think he should. Who else is going to fight him? That would be a fun fight.
Yeah.
Sterling and Volkanovski would be a good fight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, card was fantastic.
It
Outside
was.
of that, there was some controversies at the at this fight.
Yeah.
So, you had a lot of people in attendance. You had Mark Wahlberg. You had Rey Mysterio.
Oh yeah, lots of fighters. As always.
It seems like every fighter was there. I mean, it was Las Vegas, so they all just show up.
Yeah.
You had
It's essentially a home game.
You had Guy Fieri.
Yeah.
You had there was somebody else.
Oh, you mean former President Donald J. Trump?
Ah, yes, that's who. Yeah, that's right. There was twice indicted, twice impeached.
It's sometimes hard to remember.
Yeah. But thanks. Donald J. Trump. Haven't pulled out the impression in a while. Still the best. Still the best. Still the best. Still the best. If he wasn't a threat to democracy, it would be so much fun to see him doing stuff.
He used to be so funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
He still is funny.
He's still hilarious.
But it's just...
there's a darkness around it. There's a cloud.
It's clouded
around
by the imminent threat to democracy.
And every time you see him... Well, I mean, given
here we are. Yeah.
This event. So he's interacting with all these celebrities and stuff, and he's talking, and he's.
I mean, even the announcer. I forget who was the broadcaster on at the time.
It was Anik, Rogan, and DC. So
no. This was before when he first came out, before the main card. I think they cut to the color commentary team. Yeah. Former fighter, I forget his name.
Well, there's Rashad Evans.
It wasn't Rashad. It was another guy.
Bisbing.
It wasn't Bisbing. It wasn't Bisbing.
I thought Bisbing said something about Trump, though. I'm trying to think. There's Felder.
It may have
Bisbing,
been Felder. I don't know.
Rashad Evans. I think Rockhold doesn't.
Regardless, whoever it was a former UFC fighter. I forget his name right now, but
Dominic Cruz. It was Cruz.
Yeah,
it was Cruz.
It was Cruz
because he was like, "Fucking Trump is here." It was Cruz.
Yes. Because he went out of his way to say, like, it's awesome to see him here. UFC was one of those lights in the darkest times during the pandemic.
Yeah, it was definitely Cruz.
Never closed down.
Yeah.
We love to see him here.
Yeah, it was definitely Dominic.
I was like, whoa.
How about you chill the fuck out, dude? Okay. Right. Calm down,
relax.
Buddy, all right,
relax. I wouldn't say it to your face.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those, like, you see him at these events. He's been to these events before,
of course.
And
he came out arm in arm with the old Dana White.
Oh yeah, of course he did.
The VIP treatment
to a resounding standing ovation. By the way, he had a lot of fans there.
Of course.
Same as he did when they were in Miami.
Yeah.
Fucking Miami went nuts for him.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, if you're a left-leaning person, as this podcast is,
sure.
If you couldn't tell, there's certain things you have to kind of compartmentalize, I think, with some of the stuff that we're into, right?
Yeah, sure.
You can't. It's hard to be
being left leaning, but also not being obnoxious enough to try to like ban or block out everything that is not left leaning as well.
Right.
Right. So that's we both fall into that camp where we still enjoy things that are technically right leaning or conservative adjacent.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's
you gotta know. You gotta be. It's obvious, of course. They would love Trump there. It's
right.
fine.
It's yeah. You think they show him on screen and people get excited? You think I'm like, oh yeah, turn this off now? Like,
no,
it's fine.
Of course not.
It's what it is. What it is. We love fighting. Yeah. I'm not gonna not watch the UFC
right.
because he shows up.
Right. And I happen to think guns are cool. So
Sorry.
Like people are complicated sometimes.
Yeah.
But that being said, my reaction was a hearty chuckle, and I continued on with my watching experience.
Yeah, and I'd see him like in the crowd.
I'm
watching
genuinely a little bit of respect for him staying.
I had the same thought too. I got to the end of the card and I was like, he's still there.
I was like, I guarantee he's leaving by 10 o'clock. Yeah. Right? He has to be going home and falling right to sleep.
But no, he stayed for the whole card.
He stayed for the entire thing.
Stayed for the whole card.
Good for him.
And he was glad handing with a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And some people. So, okay. The fallout happens with some of the people who went out of their way to talk to Trump, to shake his hand, to have a conversation with him. You get. And people don't want to admit this, but it happens on both sides of the political spectrum, which is that somebody that you thought you knew is hanging out or is friends with somebody that you don't like, and then it changes your opinion on that person. Now, all of a sudden, you're like, oh, you're not who I thought you were. Now I have to rethink everything that I...
Right. My fandom of yours.
Yeah. And I don't know. For me, personally, I've been burned so many times by celebrities that, like, I no longer... I used to. I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to, especially when I was younger, had a very. I didn't have parasocial relationships with these people. Like I didn't follow them like that or like try to communicate with them. But I was really passionately a fan of certain people. Mm-hmm. And every time you get burned, you're just like, I have to rethink how much energy I put into this person or how much care and passion that you put into it.
Yeah.
The last time it happened, I've talked about this on the show, I think, but the last time it was with old Bill Cosby, man. When all that stuff came out, because I wasn't aware that this was like an unknown, unspoken secret that everybody knew about him, was that he did this shit in the 70s and 80s, and then all this fallout
Hannibal
happens, and you're like, what the it like. And at that point, I was like, you can never feel a certain way. Because he was America's dad. Everybody loved him. You can never feel a certain way about this. You have to put a cap on it at some point.
Yeah.
So, Guy Fieri, for some reason, has a lot of fans who thought that he would never do something like this. Guy Fieri is the one dude who was there that I thought, well, of course. I don't know. What are we confused about with Guy Fieri, bro?
Look. He is a wealthy, entrepreneurial restaurateur. Do you not think...
Also a white man.
Yeah, with frosted tips. Do you not think he would be on the side of, let's keep the country open, let's forget about COVID, no worries, whatever, let's just keep everything going as it used to be?
His whole thing is like working class... We're just a bunch of regular guys. We're just making sauces and eating burgers.
Diners, drive-ins, and dives.
Who do you think works and eats at diners,
drive-ins, and dives? Right.
Trump supporters.
Yeah, of course. Say what you will about him, but he's clearly like the prototypical middle American guy. Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
That's what his entire image is. Now, he isn't vocally very political, which apparently is a good thing because, a lot of people would have turned sour on him immediately.
But him, like, all right, if I was a celebrity and I was at the T-Mobile Arena and Trump was there, like my cousin, I was with Brad, and he asked me this, and I wouldn't go up to Trump
No.
And I wouldn't go out of my way to talk to him. And,
No,
if
no.
if the opportunity was presented to me to talk to him, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So there is a certain level of Guy Fieri could have just not done that.
Sure.
But at the same time, it's like,
Well, and they're both in show business. You know, like, I'm sure
oh yeah,
they've bumped elbows before. This is not their first time meeting. I guarantee it.
No way. No way.
So, you know, all these people that are clutching their pearls and stuff, like, I get it to a certain extent, but also you can't be that surprised.
Right.
You really can't be.
I think if you're upset because when you think about Trump and what he's done and said and represents, and then you look and then you juxtapose that with like your fandom of somebody like Guy Fieri and it disappoints you. I understand that disappointment, I guess, but yeah, I don't know. Just to me, I never had any illusions about who I was watching when I watched Guy's grocery games.
Right. I like, for me, it is disappointing, but at the same time, like, I messaged you this entire screed that Victoria Brownworth posted on Twitter.
Yeah.
About, like, well, now I have to rethink, like, everything he's ever done. Like, I have to rethink all of the, you know, all the benefits that he's put on, all of the charities he's hosted, and all this good that he's done because he's clearly a fan of Trump.
I mean, listen to yourself.
It's just too much.
Listen to yourself.
It's too much.
You have to rethink all the good that he's done in his life because he talked to somebody that you don't like. You don't know what that you don't. He didn't endorse him. He didn't. We don't even know that he's. We're saying all this, but he could have just thought it was interesting to talk to a former president.
Yeah.
Regardless of, you know, I'm sure these guys would talk to Reagan or George H.W.
Yeah.
You know, it's again. I'm not saying that it was. It's not cool. It is a little disappointing.
Of course,
because you're like, oh no, another guy that would glad hand with this person.
Right. He like, it taints his reputation.
Yeah,
I will say that
just a little bit.
Sure. But you know, come on.
I don't know. I think anybody who feels like they have to rethink everything that Guy Fieri's done because he spoke to Donald Trump.
Right.
I think that's a little. You might want to like just relax a little bit. Like maybe not rethink his entire. Maybe rethink your rethinking and maybe just chill for a second.
Sure.
Now, you know, we could table this conversation, and if we find out that he does endorse him, or like, you know, there's money backing him, or
yeah.
I could. She took a.
She took an honest kid.
That's not an honest kid.
She's not an honest kid at all.
No.
She's a lying chihuahua.
Yeah, I mean, who else talked to him? Joe Rogan. Obviously, Joe Rogan spoke to him.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg.
Like,
well, again,
duh.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You know,
No
some of these
surprises
things, like,
there.
yeah. Are you surprised? Yeah.
Right.
So it's just inevitable. He's there. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. It is what it is, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's disappointing, but that's where it begins and ends for me.
Yeah.
I would consider myself a fan of Guy Fieri. That's where it begins and ends with me. If more comes out, obviously, I may have to adjust my my fandom of the guy's stuff. But whatever.
Do you think what? Do you?
Oh, come on.
Do you think that? Did you already kill 2?
No.
Oh, wait. No, you only had.
We had
split this
the
one.
one to split. Yeah.
Do you think that Donald Trump wears the same suit, or do you think he has a closet full of badly cut suits?
Closet full of badly cut suits.
Why do you think that?
I think he was fitted, and I'm using air quotes, once, and it was not to his size, but to his comfort. And he goes, no, I like it a little out here. I like it a little wider around here. I like give me the longest tie you can find. And I think
I don't know if that tie's long enough.
Yeah, I think they
tie.
legitimately just said, okay, sir, we'll give it to you. And he has like probably 50 of them in the closet, different colors, couple different shoes.
Melania,
maybe.
do you think this tie is long enough? I'm probably going to be on TV. I don't know if this tie is long enough. It's reaching my pelvis, but I think it needs to reach my knees. Why are his ties so long?
I don't know.
You know, when he was first running for president, or maybe when he first became president, it was 2016. I don't know if he was already president yet. GQ did this thing where they mocked up what he would look like. You remember this?
I saw that, yeah.
They mocked up what he would look like if he just got like a nice suit, like a nice tailored suit. And I mean, hate to say it, but he looked like a normal person.
Yeah,
like don't do the weird thing with your hair.
I remember that specifically because they also fixed his hair and I think gave him a beard.
Well, no, what they did was they didn't color his skin. Like he didn't have the tan they were like he just is a normal old white dude. So like a comb over, pale skin because he's just a white dude.
Yeah,
a suit that's tailored to his body.
Yeah,
you're like, yeah, I mean, he's an old white guy. He's not gonna look great, but he's certainly not helping himself. He doesn't look like a normal human being.
No.
Every time I see him, I'm just so fascinated.
Now I will say, maybe that's working for him. Maybe that's exactly what he's
working
trying to do.
In what way though?
He has become like a mascot. You see like the Trump bumper stickers of just the floppy hair and orange head.
Yeah.
You know, like that's a thing now.
Yeah.
If he didn't have that identifiable look about him that is so strange and alien, you know, maybe his brand wouldn't be as tight as it is.
Yeah. Hell yeah, I mean it does. He certainly understands branding.
Now, do I think that was on purpose? Absolutely not.
No way.
Absolutely not.
No, he definitely thought that this was his best foot forward.
And I think he just fell into the fact that he looks like an alien.
Yeah.
You know? And they're like, yeah, we got to brand it.
Leaning forward with his chest out.
It's like a pigeon.
Two arms in front of him.
Yeah. All conservatives stand weird.
They all stand weird.
Yeah.
They like go to the same school or something. Like some etiquette coach is telling them how to stand.
Yeah.
They're all so... And that's why I can't get behind any of them. Forget their policies. It's like, don't stand so weird.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get behind some. No.
That's the real problem.
That's the real issue here is how weird they are.
Yeah.
Can you imagine supporting somebody like Mitch McConnell?
No.
I mean, just like you look at him and you're like, ugh.
Ooh. I mean, not to say that like a lot of liberals look fantastic either. They're all like 80 years old.
No, okay, but name a liberal that doesn't look, that isn't at least trying to take care of themselves.
Sure, that's fair.
Joe Biden is an old man.
Yeah.
He's old.
Yeah.
But have you seen him?
Oh yeah.
Did you see him on his little beach in Delaware?
Yeah,
not
I did.
his beach, but the beach.
I did.
I mean, he looks like an old man.
It's Joe's
but he looks
beach.
like an old man taking care of himself.
Yeah. He's got the right length, the right leg length.
Oh yeah, 5-inch
for
inseam,
trunks.
baby.
Yeah, beautiful.
It's the way to do it. Show
Beautiful.
some thigh.
Yep.
Guy looks great.
He does
for his age.
He does.
You know?
He does. I will say that. The aviators work.
Yeah, come on, man.
I mean, he knows he'd be squinting the entire time, so he puts the aviators on.
Yeah.
You know,
So leave the aviators on.
it's fine.
I mean, think about any of them. You know, Beto looks great.
Yeah.
Who's the guy who runs transportation now?
Oh,
Buttigieg.
Buttigieg, yeah.
Buttigieg. He's
Mayor Pete.
keeping it tight.
Yeah.
Keeping it tight.
AOC.
I'm just thinking about prominent left wing.
Pelosi, smoke show. I don't think we can count her anymore. She's retired, but you know.
Smoke show.
Just saying.
Yeah, I mean, right wing people wouldn't have this weird fetish thing with AOC if she wasn't as hot as she actually is. It's always so funny when I see them like trying to dunk on her and it's stop, okay, stop it. You're gonna sit here, you really with a straight face, you're gonna tell me that AOC's not really, really cute.
Yeah,
you're gonna look me in the face and you're gonna try to make fun of like her teeth. Mm-hmm. Really?
She's poor. She worked as a bartender.
What are you talking about, man?
Whoa.
If she was working at a bar that any of those fucking slops walked into, they would be sexually harassing her all night.
Yeah.
They would get kicked out of the bar and then be like, that fucking bitch.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Well, instead they do that on Twitter.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
You just forget the kicked out part. They already have, because they know that that's what would happen.
Sure.
So they already have that attitude like, she wouldn't give a guy like me the time of day anyway. And it's like, you know what?
She probably thinks she's better than me.
She is better than you.
Hasn't talked to her once.
She is better than you. Okay.
Yeah.
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 So, to kind of wrap this up in a little bow, Jack White had a big issue with it, and that kind of spurred all of this. And it's like, you know what? I get Jack White has to say what he says. He has to take his stand, but I didn't really think that we were going to see a Guy Fieri Jack White collaboration anytime soon. So
unfortunately,
I think we'll all be okay. I think Jack will be okay. Yeah. I don't think Joe Rogan's going to lose any sleep over Jack White's opinion.
No, I highly doubt that.
And also, stones in a glass house kind of thing. Maybe don't have public skeletons that have been exposed before you start talking about other people. Not defending Donald Trump in any way, shape, or form.
Sure.
But anybody who is going to come out and jump in front of those daggers that are going to get thrown, you just have to be ready for that shit. And people are going to bring up the fucked up shit that you do.
Yeah.
And, not for nothing, but not like Jack White's a perfect person.
Who is?
Nobody is.
Who is?
Which is why when you decide that you are going to be the person who's going to say a bunch of stuff about like a prominent figure, I think you just have to be ready for the fact that like that's going to come back on you.
Yeah, of course.
That's how people are.
Yeah.
Not saying that Jack White shouldn't say anything.
Right.
Because he felt it necessary to. I support that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I definitely, if I had to pick between Jack White and Donald Trump, it'd be Jack White every day.
Yeah. 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 I love Jack White. I'm not saying that he shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying.
He's saying.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
All right. Finally.
Let's talk about that. That Tyson Fury.
Francis Ngannou boxing match. It's happening.
It is. It's finally
happening. Ooh.
Oops.
And everything melts down.
So
I'm curious to hear, as both an MMA and a boxing fan as you are, what do you think of this matchup?
You all right there? Kicking the leg out. All right. Just a little dozy do,
Dude.
little doot doot, doot doodle doot.
Got a little soccer slide.
Here's my thoughts on this. Number one, I'm so happy for Francis, and I love that this shuts up the people who had opinions on Francis holding out. Mm-hmm. When he signed the PFL deal, I thought, this is amazing. Francis Ngannou, for those that don't know, I'll give you just a quick backstory, was the UFC heavyweight champion of the world. A world beater. Ran through the division. Finally capturing UFC gold. And while he was injured, he was trying to negotiate a new deal because his fight deal was up. So he's renegotiating the terms not renegotiating. He's negotiating a new contract with the UFC. And some of the stuff that he brought to the table, everybody was like, that's unrealistic. You knew you weren't going to get a deal with that stuff. Why would you even ask for that? Dana White very publicly comes out and he's like, this guy's out, like, he's asking for stuff that he knows we can't deliver. He's not a needle mover. Mm-hmm. It's not like we need him kind of stuff. I'm paraphrasing. So but
it's the gist.
But not that much. So you can look it up what he says.
We talked about this a bit on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Francis, he believes in himself. Excuse me. And he signs this PFL deal. And within it, he gets pretty much everything that he wanted. And everyone's like, oh, you downgraded. You're not in the UFC anymore. The UFC is the premier mixed martial arts organization, right. Which it is.
Sure.
But signing with PFL and getting everything that he wanted, I don't know how you guys don't see the value in believing in yourself and then being rewarded for believing
getting
in
what
yourself.
You demanded.
Yeah. Part of that was being able to do this cross-promotional kind of stuff. So that's why Francis Ngannou is allowed to do this. Tyson Fury, I think he's the lineal champion and maybe the WBC champion. I don't know I don't know.
Who knows?
But yeah, he's kind of free to sign whatever fight deal he wants to fight. And instead of fighting Anthony Joshua, which that's a whole other thing, or anybody else who seemingly deserves a shot at, Tyson Fury, this war of words that's happened between him, Ngannou, John Jones kind of thrown in the mix for a little bit, all the big heavyweight names right now. Mm-hmm. This finally comes to fruition, which is very cool. From a fight standpoint, I think it's pretty easy to me to kind of see what's going to happen here. Unless Francis Ngannou can catch him with like one of those big right hands, Tyson Fury is just going to mop the floor with him.
Well, and it's funny you say that. I pulled up this article from Yahoo Sports by Kevin Iole. And his headline for this is Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou, boxing match little more than a fraud upon the paying public.
Damn.
And he goes on to, essentially say the same thing. His example was like, you get Federer and who was it? Let me see. Sorry, I forget the analogy here. Like Federer and Tiger Woods.
Okay.
And they're going to go play golf.
Right.
Of course, Federer is fantastic at what he does, but he doesn't play golf.
Right.
So kind of a broken analysis here, analogy, but you get the point.
Well, and the thing is, Francis Ngannou is not fantastic at what he does.
Right.
He's strong, freakishly fast for his size. He's a supreme athlete.
Yeah.
As far as his technique is concerned, he's not that good.
He is a what people call freak of nature.
Yeah, exactly. So you get him in the ring with somebody who is Tyson Fury. Every time people see Tyson Fury, they're like, that slob. How is that guy the heavyweight champion of the world?
Then they see.
Then you watch, and you're like,
oh,
the footwork, the body movement, the head movement, the defense, the way that he uses his length, the strategy, the jab is one of the best jabs. He's a fantastic fighter, and maybe he should be fighting more worthy opponents.
Yeah,
I think that there's no reason why him and Anthony Joshua haven't. I just don't understand how they haven't fought yet. You put that in Wimbledon or Wembley, the Wembley Arena, not Wimbledon, tennis.
Yeah.
You put that in the Wembley Arena or Wembley Stadium. I don't know, man. It's in England, right?
Something over there.
You put these two guys in that arena. It's Wembley Stadium. You telling me that doesn't do 80,000?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's Thriller in Manila type stuff.
Huge.
Right? Huge. So at the end of the day, it'll be fun to watch. I'm happy for Francis.
Yeah. This is a victory for him, clearly, even on the money-making part of this entire deal. You know? He's already won.
Yeah.
He has what he wants.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what this fight ends up doing. He's won so far.
Yeah.
So
when a guy like Francis coming from where he's comes from, you got to contextualize these things. He is looking at this like, I never thought that I would be in this place, and now I'm fighting the heavyweight champion.
Yeah. Oh, incredible.
For millions of dollars on my own terms. I'm doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
People, if you don't have a positive outlook on that, you're just a hater. There's no way to look at that and say that this was a fail.
Right. To boo-hoo it, to minimize it.
How could you?
That means that you're more of a fan of an organization than you are of the sport.
And there's a lot of people who are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people that take Dana's side or the side of the UFC as an organization over the side of the fighters, and I'm like,
that's stupid.
What are you?
That's really dumb.
But it makes sense that the majority of UFC fans are right-wing people, right? Doesn't it make sense?
Sure.
Because there's that majority, there's the vocal minority of people who are like, how can you not take the side of... I don't care what the issue is. You take the side of the worker. You take the side of the union.
Yes.
You take the side of the fighter.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't...
well.
like, there are very
That's enough,
few,
Karl Marx. You're talking crazy over here.
I don't know. To me, that maybe it's just... I don't know. Maybe it's just the liberal agenda working on me. But I just don't really understand how you could be in a situation. Because all of us, the majority of us who have these conversations with each other, I'm not talking to any business owners. I'm talking to people who make the same kind of money that I make, work in the same kind of industries I work in, or at the very least are in the same tax bracket that I'm in.
Sure.
How can you and I be looking at the world the same way or from the same distance, but you feel that you don't have anything in common with these people?
Because you attach yourself to those people thinking that you'll be able to ride that wave to their ascended status.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You go, I can be a billionaire.
Yeah.
That's going to happen for me.
Yeah.
They did it, pulling up themselves from their own bootstraps. That didn't happen.
No.
But yeah, I think that's why.
Yeah.
So, they have this dream.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a full-on socialist. I mean, I would love to have millions of dollars.
I like my money.
Yeah. I would love way more money. But
I love buying stuff.
listen, if somebody told me, like, I'll just give you $1 billion, you can be a billionaire. You can be one of these people that you hate. I'll be like, yeah. I'll take it. I'll take it tomorrow. I'll take it right now.
Yeah.
You know? Tell me what I got to do.
Donate a cool $1 million and then feel good
just
for the rest of your life.
Yeah, just a
Take
little,
that.
yeah. Just drop it off in a briefcase. Y'all do what you want with this. And then that's it.
Yep.
Never donate another dime.
Nope. All for you.
Oh, man. Yeah. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. The fight game, you take the politics out of it. You take all the social commentary out of it. And what you're left with right now is some of the most exciting fighting that we have right now. So if you're a fan of fight sports, combat sports, I think we're really living in a golden age of combat sports.
Oh, yeah.
Right now.
It's only gotten better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with the access of being able to watch like wrestling events, not like pro wrestling, but like, Greco-Roman, like wrestling, like Olympic style wrestling, jiu-jitsu tournaments, slap fights. No.
Yeah, that's great.
We have a wealth of combat sports to watch.
That's right.
So it's great.
Yep.
And you got PFL, you've got bare knuckle boxing, you got excuse me, those fucking Citra hops, baby. You just have so many options to enjoy yourself.
And athletes are only getting more and more competitive. I truly believe that. It's clear in every other sport.
Yeah.
That athletes are only getting better.
Yeah.
So
scary.
Yeah.
Watching what people are capable of now.
The human body.
Yeah. You watch these clips of like these little kids playing basketball, and you're like, the kid's how old? Like, oh, he's 8. Like, and he did what?
He crossed that grown man over?
That's insane.
Okay.
What are you talking about?
All right.
So,
yes.
that's where we're at.
Love it.
Love it. Love it, man.
I have a cheers of the week if we can get to that.
I think we should.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Your
My cheers of the week goes to you. It's your birthday soon.
Happy birthday.
I wrapped it myself.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, she picked it up off the floor. Almost ruined the surprise.
Here, guys. This was on
What's
the floor.
this?
Happy birthday to... Oh, shit.
There's a little thing in there, too.
A pin?
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's probably within the shirt.
Or maybe in the big bag.
Bro.
What does it say?
Dog, this is killer.
Yeah.
If you're watching, you can see. If you're listening, it says legalize steroids, and it's just Sammy and Mark McGuire. This is one of the best shirts I've ever seen in my whole life.
I saw it and I said I need this immediately.
This is so
for
good,
your birthday.
man. This is awesome. Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate this.
Of course.
This is awesome. Oh, I love this so much. Thank you, man.
Yes.
Thank you.
Of course. You got to find the pin too.
Yeah.
There's
I
a
think
pin
it's
in
probably in the bag.
Yeah.
Ugh. It's not in that bag.
Better be in there.
I don't see any pin.
Oh. Checking that plastic one.
No.
Oh my God. We have a controversy.
Oh, wait, is this it?
Yes.
Oh, shit. This is even better. It's well, if you could see,
Yeah, it's probably not going to focus on it, but
I won't see it. It's the man, the GOAT, the greatest wrestler of all time, Stone Cold Steve Austin, chugging beers.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, man.
Yes.
Thank you.
Wear 'em well.
I will.
Wear 'em well, my friend.
I will.
And happiest of birthdays.
Thank you. I don't know what to do for my cheers. But it's so stupid.
Oh, it's fine. That's what we founded this show on. Stupidity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, mine was Full Size Run, the show. The
Okay, yeah, that's a good one too.
Cheers to that. It's on Complex, YouTube show about sneakers. It's a show about shoes. I'm a closet sneakerhead. If I had more money, I would have way more shoes. So can't afford them, but I do like to pay attention to it culturally. It's very fascinating. I've talked about this on the show before. People know this, or they should know this about me personally, how much I'm into men's fashion, menswear.
Menswear.
So, the culture behind menswear is endlessly fascinating to me, and like what people find fashionable, what people don't find fashionable, what I find fashionable, all this stuff. It's it's really fascinating to me. And Full Size Run, it's just a really fun show. They just have like all of your favorite streetwear guys plus celebrities who are known sneakerheads. Mm-hmm. Some people who you don't know are sneakerheads who turn out to be really big sneakerheads and understand the history of shoes and everything. And listen, I understand being this much into menswear and sneakers. First of all, it's a very capitalistic thing to be this much into something that is just a commodity.
You're trying to get the FBI off your back now.
I just want people to understand that I get it. All right, like that movie that came out a couple months ago, Up in the Air or Air Up in the Air. That's the George Clooney movie, which is also a good movie. Oh. Air, and people are like, it's just a movie about shoes, and it's like, yeah, but there's
a good story behind
that. It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I how do you, as an American, how are you not interested in how it came to be?
Sure. Yeah.
That it's not like Michael Jordan was just this talented basketball player and they were like, here is a pair of shoes, or Michael Jordan was in a basement tinkering away trying to figure out that, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a real, there are real people behind this. It's a real, everybody was trying to make money, but there's a really, really interesting story behind that shit.
How did this happen?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I get that we're in this era, strangely, where we're making movies out of things where you're like that one. There's a movie coming out that's about the creation of Flamin' Hot Cheetos, which is like,
oh yeah.
I'm like, I get it. We're making a lot of movies that are basically just fictionalized versions of how did this thing get made?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
How did
Well, just like
the
the McDonald's movie.
Yeah. But they're all so good
great.
so
They're
far.
great.
Like that
They're
McDonald's
great.
movie's awesome.
Yeah.
Air, I heard, is really good. I haven't watched it yet, but all that I've heard is good things
Streaming
about
now.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Full Size Run. Watch it on YouTube. Hosted by Brendan Dunn, Matt Welty, Trinidad James, who I have a newfound respect for as an artist and as a podcast host, or a show host rather. Just a fun show. A fun show. And I need more things to fill the Bon Appetit hole.
Yeah.
So when I get off of work,
It's a void.
I can, yeah.
This massive
And
void.
it's huge. It's huge. Nothing's
Yeah.
been able to nobody posts as much and as much quality content as often as
Yeah.
Bon Appetit used to.
I don't think anything ever will fill that void, but you know, piece by piece, we'll get it filled up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The hell was that?
Oh. She went to fill that void. Yeah. Well said. Well said.
All right. Well, let's review these brewskis and then get the regatty.
Let's do it.
All right. Tonight's brew was from Sideward Brewing. I want to call it Sideward Brewing Company, but it's not. It's Sideward Brewing.
Yeah.
And it was the double Citra,
Citra
Nelson,
Nelson.
a double IPA. And Obi, what did you think?
Buddy, I love this beer. It does everything that I like in IPAs. Bit bitter, a bit sweet to mellow it out. Has a bit of a fruitiness to it that they advertise, and I definitely get that. Smooth, strong enough without being overly boozy. I mean, it hits all the right spots for me. I have to give it a 6.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
I have to.
Oh.
I love this beer.
We've had more 6s this year than I think we've ever had.
Look, either we're becoming softies or this has just been a great year of beer.
I mean, listen, 400 episodes in, you at some point, right? We're
Yeah.
going to start getting more and more. I mean, we're just running off the list of them, you know. 6 out of 6. All
Yeah,
right.
I love
Perfect
it.
score for
Love
the double Citra Nelson.
Can't think of anything else it could do better for me.
I am going to give it a 5. I think it's a great IPA. I will say that I actually find it a little too sweet. There's a little bit too much on the back end where I'm like,
Yeah.
I would actually, surprisingly enough, would prefer it to be slightly more bitter and slightly less sweet.
Yeah.
So that kind of docks it just a little bit, but still, I mean, Sideward does IPAs the way you want a brewery to do IPAs. I don't know if I've ever had better IPAs consistently across the board.
Yeah.
as much as we've had them from Sideward. So
Agreed.
They've continued that streak of making just fantastic stuff.
Yeah.
Can't beat it. All right. So a perfect 6 out of 6 for you. And a 5 out of 6 for myself. You think we got it?
I know we got it.
All right. Well, then, if Obi says we got it, then it's over, bitch. Let's get the fuck out of here. This has been the One Baron podcast for myself, Marco Dupo, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Yeah, boy.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer and have yourselves a beautiful evening.
We love you. Yummy.